we are the last group, so we want to go home. I want to eat pizza, so we will be very brief, right? Okay. I am Emanuele, Jose, Grace, Carmen, and we are going to present you first of this meeting, how to manage it. We develop our projects asking to people, asking to our friends, to our parents, to our professor, to you, some question. This is the question. I'm not for sure that some of you have received our question on LinkedIn, but no one has responded, so well. Anyway, we succeed to receive some response, and we based our projects about this answer to our question. I will give you a brief introduction about Italian culture, Carmen about China, Grace about USA. Thank you as well for the professor for your answer, and Jose about Peru. Okay. So we can start. Well, the question are preferred location. First of all, where we gonna to meet for the first meeting. Then dress code for this meeting, obviously. How we break the ice, how we start to talk. We start with work topics, so we prefer to talk with something else, the better. How direct negotiations are, and a unique characteristic of your country in terms of doing business. I mean, if I have to meet some Peruvian guy for the first business meeting, this Peruvian guy takes with him, his family, how can I think about these things? So, this is our topics. Well, Italy. It's quite easy to understand that we like to go to the restaurant for the first business meeting. Obviously, if we are in office hour, restaurant is not a big place, we have to stay in our office, but if we can, we like to go to the restaurants. The restaurants has to have some characteristics: good food, good wine, good place. So we are not, we don't like to choose McDonald's for first business meeting. Not the Indian one, the American one. And so must be also fashion, as we always say: good food, good wine, good negotiation. And this is the same for our dress code. I will tell you only 5 names, and then I will pass to the other slide. Dolce & Gabbana, Armani, Valentino, Prada, Gucci, so everybody knows this. How we break the ice? It's very easy. Football. I mean, you go in the same place, you start talking about football with every kind of Italian, male, female, south, north, west, no. So try to speak about football, and will become very easy to do business. Maybe you are wondering about this team. This is from my city, it's Juventus, as probably young you are with me, it's gonna win the Champions League this year, right? And how direct are our negotiations? Well, very direct. I am a son of a sailor and a managing director of a company, and when I went with my parents to do negotiation, they are always very direct. I mean, if it's no, if the price is too high, they said to the seller, the price is right, I don't like it, the quality is too low, and the same things when you have to buy something. And then, this is, thank you. If you ever met an Italian, it's very common to see this thing. We are always late. When I have to organize an appointment with my friends, I always say at least half an hour before the real appointment, the right appointment, and always they come half an hour after their appointment, so at the right time I decided. And this is the same for business. We like to overlap appointments, so if you are arriving in an office for an appointment, probably you will have to attend outside for a quarter or half an hour, and then you can start the appointment.
So for the China part, for the first in this meeting, we for the client offices at the client's convenience. So you need to make appointment cautiously and sincerely. And if you are more closer than the first time, you can make appointment for some outside at some restaurant, good restaurant. And if the deal is half closed or is totally closed for relationship maintenance, you can maybe it's not active. Maybe you can make appointment with the client to the treatment places. And the dress code is to show your respect is business formal or casual formal for the first business meeting. This one is not okay. So yeah, the first meeting it's also a way to show your respect, to say some compliments or say, oh, Professor, it's so honored to meet you. Thank you for this opportunity or something else. I've read your work also, blah, blah, blah. And they find mutual hobbies and other interests. Oh, Charles, you like the bubble tea also? Oh, this taste I like it very good. This is kind of some mutual interest. And the final one is that gift-based be patient. Everyone knows that in China, it's very important to give the other face. Even though you disagree their opinions, please do express your idea modestly and cautiously. Don't straightforward too much. And be patient. Sometimes they want to know more details, or in the negotiation session, they are very patient to backing all the time. You need to be more patient to talk with the negotiation. That's all. Okay, here's the one. The last one is diverse. Actually, this is mentioned by the previous groups that in China there are diverse traditional patterns and business styles. So you need to do serious survey before you make the business with others. Okay, great.
Maybe you may feel a little bit strange. I'm not American, right? But I work in an American company, so I try to understand more about my American culture in the first business meeting. So let me try to understand. And as American, at the first business meeting, they hope to choose a clean and quiet location. Sometimes in their customer's office or some meeting or in the meeting room. And Americans like to use some brochures and catalogs as price list to prepare their conversation with their customers in the first meeting. And they also like to give a formal presentation. And as you know, Americans also always like to dress the formal business dress. Sometimes they will like to dress some American style. And in my company, my company is a very historical company. It's founded in the 1800. We create a style as that the dress for your day. That means to dress any kind of what you want. That need to make you so comfortable. At first, when they break the ice, they like to talk about some politics and sports and the other things not related to the conversations. And the negotiations, Americans like to simple and straightforward, especially for the big issues. Finally, I think Americans always do everything at the best. They work so hard and they work overtime each day, I think, and they moving forward. Maybe I think that because they all have an American dream. That's all.
Well, and last but not least about Peru, but more than talking about like the Peruvian way of addressing these first meetings, this first negotiation, I would say like you can also use it for South America, like all the South American and Mexico. We kind of do the same way the negotiations of the first meeting. So about locations, we usually tend to have the first meeting of the client. Usually try to get the meetings at the client office, but you as a salesperson or as a person who wants to close a deal, you will always try to pull them into some restaurants or coffee shops, restaurants especially to get some wine or to get some good food, to try to make their relationship more as a close friend rather than doing like a client buyer person. In terms of the clothes, especially in Peru, we have a very strong influence of the American fashion and how formal, informal people work during negotiation or in companies. Depends on the industry, definitely. But Peruvians or South American people tend to use very basic, or for me, now that I see other fashion, it's kind of basic and really basic colors. Like we only use like blue or white or black or gray, right? Especially for doing distance. How we break the ice? Definitely joking around and trying to make the meeting like less formal. I don't know. Not Latin people is like that. They always try to relate it to party or to to jokes or news, something fun to try to make friends of the other side of the negotiation table. About how direct are we, especially Peruvians? We're not that direct. We always try to avoid telling you the last decision, like right in the first meeting. We usually try to have a second or a third one and then tell you, and if we are going to tell you that we are not going to close with you the deal, perhaps I would tell you that I will think about it, but when you're saying that we'll think about it, you're just saying that you're not going to close with it, or perhaps I would send you an email rather than having a confrontation, a personal confrontation. So we're not that direct, even like when we say that let's go to have some dinner, we usually say that in a small way. Let's have a little dinner or things like that, because we don't like to say things really straight away. So I don't know why. And the last tip that I will tell you, if you are going to do some business with Peruvians especially, try to talk about their food and their places. Don't go further than Machu Picchu for Peru, for instance. But go and try to learn a little bit more about the culture, and they will love it. People get crazy when somebody tells you about Cusco Tower or some ceviche or something like that. So, as a conclusion, after the research that we did, as Emma said, we asked as well for some tips for the first meeting. And what we got is like they told us first, listen before you speak, especially if you're in a different culture. Be cautious to refuse any invitation. As I mentioned, Peru, they're not direct. In other countries, they are really direct, such as Italy. Get to know the culture before you met them, and look for empathy before and during negotiation through the cultural characteristics to get the final close of the deal. So that's our presentation. Hope you
6:30, so our time together is officially over with. I can't keep you here any longer, but we have one person that would like to give us a 5-minute presentation on, I believe, his school in Switzerland. If you must leave, you can, or if you like, give him 5 minutes.
Right. Thank you guys for staying. I'll make this really quick. Sorry.
This is extra special.
Yeah. So let me go just through this like this. This is my university. I have to do this. I have to present my school to all of you. It's a really great university to be at. It's based in Switzerland in St. Gallen, which is a small town of 70,000 people. So really tiny, but it's great because everybody goes there for studying. So it's a real student town. You have a lot of fun there. You do a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. Yeah, thank you very much. I guess that's it. So no, actually that's maybe really the most important part. I think it's really beautiful. So for everybody who hasn't been there, this is really it. You study there, you live, you meet a lot of interesting people. And Switzerland itself is a very interesting country, very small, 8 million people, so that's just like a part of Shanghai really. So I welcome everybody to come visit. If you want more information, just shoot me an email. And yeah, or basically my university. And I'm sure they'd be happy to give you more information. Thank you very much.
Now I can sign officially. Have a good weekend, all of you.